This is the story of how I was diagnosed with my second autoimmune disease at the age of 29 as a new mother. My story starts back in 2021, end of 2021 into 2022. I was pregnant with my daughter due in April and was having a ton of symptoms. During my pregnancy, I noticed there was two black dots on, like, I don't even know how to describe them. They were just two extremely black dots on the back of my neck, and really didn't think anything of it because of all the hormones I was going through. I thought, okay, that's just hormones because you're pregnant. But was having a ton of other symptoms as far as fatigue and weight loss and throwing up, and a lot of that, which is normal pregnancy symptoms, in which the doctor said that, like, you kind of need to get through this. This is just pregnancy. And so I did. I did, however, get a new doctor at January, and they did blood work and come to find out I was severely anemic and needed 7 iron transfusions. That helped my fatigue a ton, but still overall just wasn't feeling great. I had my daughter in March due to preeclampsia. So after I had my daughter, I thought, okay, I'm going to feel so much better now. Like, the pregnancy's over, all these symptoms are going to leave me, and that just wasn't the case for me. I continued to be very sick. I was extremely fatigued. I kept getting these spots, like these dark spots all over, accompanied with like really light patches on my skin. It was just weird. I don't know how to describe it, just patches all over my skin. And with that, I was still like sleeping all the time, and people were saying, well, you're a new mom, you're up all night, which, that was true too. I was just extremely tired and extremely sick to my stomach. I got to the point where I couldn't eat. So fast forward a little bit, I go back to my full-time job. I'd had my full-time job for 10 years. I've been doing it for a long time. I was pretty good at it, I thought. And stress had never really gotten to me, but all of a sudden I could not handle the stress of my job and being a mother. It just got to the point where I was breaking down every day. I was in tears. I was in tears the whole entire drive to work. I was in tears all the way back. I would have to go in my office and close the door and cry. I was just constantly in an overload of stress where I felt like I could handle anything anymore, which, if you knew me personally, you knew that was just not the case for me. So again, that was strange. I was sleeping all the time. All I could do was go to work, take care of my daughter, go to sleep. Really, what caused me to start going to the doctor, because I had pushed it off for a long time and had not wanted to go, but the point I had gotten to, I'd lost about 50 or 60 pounds. I went from a size like extra large down to a small. And I had one day been out running around, and my mom and my aunt and my grandma were at a restaurant nearby, and I stopped to see them, and I hadn't seen my mom or my aunt in a while. And my mom texted me afterwards and was like, Morgan, something's wrong. Like, you need to go to the doctor. Like, something's just not right. At this point, when I saw them, my lips were turning, like I had dark spots all over my lips, dark spots on my gums. Like, all these dark spots just kept appearing, along with all these other like really concerning symptoms. And I think I pushed off the doctor for so long because I was so scared of what that's going to turn into for me, of what kind of diagnosis I was going to get, especially with being a new mom. So I made a doctor's appointment at that point with primary care and got into them, and they really could not figure out what was going on. They wanted me to go to physical therapy for my pain, but I really felt like it was just more than that. I ended up going to my endocrinologist because I have Hashimoto's as well for thyroid, and started explaining my symptoms to them. And at that point, they were, really feeling like I may have another autoimmune disease, but not really sharing what that was. So I started running all of the tests. While I'm waiting for all these tests, it's my daughter's first birthday. And I just remember her first birthday was really hard. We had this huge party when I had set it all up, and obviously I had help from all my family, and we had chicken nuggets, and I just remember eating one chicken nugget and immediately having to run to the bathroom and throwing up. And I remember coming home on that Saturday night after her birthday party, and we had guests here. My dad's father-in-law my husband's dad was here from out of town, so he was here staying. And I remember I went into bed on that Saturday night, and I did not get up until Monday morning when I had to be back at work. And I knew at that point something's really wrong. Like, I was scared. I was just really sick. So probably a month later, I got a call from my doctor. I was on my way to pick up my daughter from my grandparents' house, and they called and said, we need to see you in the office. And I'd never had that happen before, so that was really scary for me. I went in and told my grandparents, left, went and got my husband, I went to the doctor's office, and that's when they diagnosed me with Addison's disease. So basically, Addison's disease is a autoimmune condition where your adrenal glands stop working, your body stops producing cortisol, and your fight or flight is basically gone. And at that point, my life has really changed ever since that diagnosis and how I live my life and what I have to do every day. I'm on steroids, I'm on a salt pill, my blood pressure drops, any type of stress is really tough on me. Any type of physical stress is really bad. I was in the hospital last year because of a viral infection that we had picked up at the house. So we really have to manage everything differently than what you would do in like a regular household, which has been really hard for me to live with. It's also scary having a young child and being worried that if I go into like an adrenal crisis, something's going to happen. And just to end, if you do have an autoimmune disease, I understand. A lot of people do not understand how this affects you on a daily basis. And if you have any symptoms of anything, go to the doctor fast. Get checked and get it taken care of. I waited way too long, and I should have went faster. And that's really what I tell everybody now is I wish I would have went so much sooner. So that is my story, and hopefully that'll be my last story of how I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease.